All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that's releasing in just about 3 months. Well, it is officially post-direct and all of the hype has kind of died down a little bit, but we do have some important updates for Tears of the Kingdom, including the new limited edition Nintendo Switch that was actually previously rumored. That's looking like it's even more real, so we're going to talk about that. We also got some extended gameplay from Tears of the Kingdom for trailer 2 that we're going to showcase on the channel. And I'm also going to address the controversy that's currently going down on Twitter and other platforms, where people are a little bit underwhelmed by the trailer. They don't think that the game is worth $70. So we're going to address that, as well as talk about whether or not this is just a big DLC or if it's truly worthy of the $70 price tag that Nintendo is putting on it. I'm also going to be going over some of the trailer details that you guys might have missed, but more on that in just a bit. Guys, I'm giving away a PS5 for 100,000 subscribers. If you guys would like to win, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, and then tweet me proof that you're subscribed. And I've also got some extra details as well as bonus entries in the pinned comment, so best of luck. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been in development for over 6 years, and with that, it's looking like Nintendo has really gone above and beyond and made this experience a whole lot bigger, especially if you were a fan of Breath of the Wild as well as the Legend of Zelda series, because that trailer gave us so many tidbits of small little details to give us kind of a hint on what we're going to expect, while also not really giving everything away and doing the classic misdirection that Nintendo does for all of their trailers. And there was a bit of controversy after the direct. People were saying that the trailer wasn't that good, especially whenever you compare it to the Breath of the Wild trailer. I was seeing some individuals say that it wasn't worth the $70 price tag that it was given, and the game looks like it was just a big DLC for Breath of the Wild. And I've just got to say this right now. If you look at every single trailer for Breath of the Wild, we really didn't get any information about that game at all. They kept so many things completely hidden behind the curtain that whenever the game came out and we all started playing it, we were all collectively mind blown at how big the game actually was. And you have to understand, Nintendo is doing the same thing right here. Now, are there going to be locations that were previously in Breath of the Wild in Tears of the Kingdom? Yes, that's already been confirmed. It's on the same map that has obviously been heavily iterated on. I guarantee whenever this game comes out, it's not going to be a copy and paste of Breath of the Wild. There's going to be so much more content that none of us even know about that whenever we start playing, it's going to just blow our minds. I know for a fact that's how it is. That's how Nintendo always does things. If they were just going to give Breath of the Wild a big update, it wouldn't have taken 6 years. This game has been in development since the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild launched. They're not going to just give us something half-baked and expect us to pay $70 for it. They wouldn't do that. Now, as for the game costing $70, I think it's an unfortunate reality of the industry in the way that it's going. That same criticism can be given to places like EA, Ubisoft, Xbox, and PlayStation. Most of their new games are all $70. This is Nintendo's first ever $70 game, and the very simple reason that it's $70 is, one, the market dictates the price, and for two, they know we're going to buy it. It's really just as simple as that. You as a consumer can make the choice to not spend the $70, and if enough people choose not to spend $70 on games, then they will lower the price. The market will change. But now that $70 is the industry norm, I would not expect that price tag going down anytime soon. Next up, we just got an update regarding the limited edition Nintendo Switch OLED based on the Tears of the Kingdom design that leaked at the end of last year. Well, we do have an important update. According to Nintendo on Twitter, they actually posted rumored Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED versus the pin case featured in Tears of the Kingdom's Collector's Edition. Well, luckily for us, it's looking like that same pin from the Collector's Edition was on the previously leaked image that happened last year. So that Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED is looking to be 100% legitimate. Now, this doesn't confirm that this OLED is actually going to come out. It could be that those were just mock-up images, but honestly, whenever there's smoke, there's fire, and we have confirmation of that leaked emblem from the previous OLED, and now that we know that it's on the Collector's Edition, it's probably a real Switch. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about some of the details from the trailer 2 that you guys might have missed, as it does reveal a ton of information. And if you haven't previously experienced Breath of the Wild and you don't really know much about the area or even the lore for Legend of Zelda, there are some key elements you guys probably missed. So in our first shot, at about 7 seconds in, you see a shot of Hyrule with Death Mountain in the background that has some red malice spewing from the volcano. And then lower to the ground, you actually see a green spiral, the same one that was showcased in one of the original trailers. Now, one of the theories regarding that spiral is that it's either a fast travel point that teleports you from the ground to the sky, similar to a shot in a previous trailer that had Link phasing through a puddle of water that actually allowed him to phase through the Sky Island, which I'm guessing is being done through one of those green spirals that are on the ground. You're going to see that green spiral throughout the trailer, so it's not limited to just one spot. Now, in the next part of the trailer, you see a winged frog-like character that has wings, kind of looks like a gargoyle in a way. And then behind that, you see a blue bokoblin, and at the bottom left, you actually see a red bokoblin with horns we're going to talk about pretty soon. So I'm guessing this is just a bokoblin bokoblin camp. And then at 14 seconds in, you have a tower to the left, which could be a possible replacement for the Chica towers. And then in the middle, you actually see an animal drawn. It looks like it's glowing, kind of like the Nazca lines that are located in Peru. They're basically just geographical glyphs that are made in the soil. These geoglyphs were created to be seen by deities that were in the sky. One of the theories that I had was that the goddess of Hylia was going to return. We actually saw a character that kind of looked like Zelda, but not really at the end of the trailer, that I'll talk about more in a bit. But it could be why we see these geoglyphs located throughout Hyrule. Maybe they're hoping that the goddess of Hylia would help them, especially after Ganondorf's siege of Hyrule. The next shot is a close-up image of a sky island. You also see a cube at the very bottom with a red spot. Not really sure what that is. But in our next shot, we see an underground cave, possibly a mine. You can tell it's underground because of these stalactites. There's some random trees as well as a mushroom. You can actually see a big root from a tree, it looks like. Now, this is likely just a random cave that we find throughout Hyrule, but one theory that I did have is what if this was the root of the Deku tree? If you take a look at the grass on the ground, you see that it's that bluish grass that you see located in the Lost Woods. Now, on the right side of this scene, you actually see some blue flames. These look like spirit flames. And then in the centerpiece, you have these bokoblins that are currently mining for some type of rare material, maybe flint, maybe iron. These are likely grunts that are continuing to build up Ganondorf's army. Maybe these bokoblins will carry some rare material, and if you kill them, then you'll actually gain that material. On the left side, you see a Lizalfos. It features a new type of horn that we're going to talk about in another shot of the trailer. And now we are at 30 seconds in the trailer. You get to actually hear Ganondorf's voice, which, funny enough, it's sounding like his voice acted by Matthew Mercer. As soon as Ganondorf's voice started talking, everyone in my live chat was like, yep, that's got to be Matthew Mercer from Critical Role. It's not 100% confirmed, but it definitely sounds like him. In this scene, you have the Bridge of Hylia with a three-headed dragon, likely a Hydra, or if you've played previous Zelda games, then you know that to be a Gleeok. Next up, at 34 seconds in, we have a shot of Hateno Village. You have the Ancient Tech Lab on the left side, and then inside of the village, you also see another one of those green spirals. But the weird part about this segment is it looks like Hateno Village is actually glistening. I'm not sure what that means, but it's pretty interesting. At 39 seconds in, we have a shot of the Blood Moon with another sky island that's floating off in the distance. Ganondorf then states, "Leave no survivors," and that's when the Blood Moon arises and it spawns a bunch of different mobs. At 48 seconds in, you see an explosion of some sort. We have what looks like a shot of Death Mountain possibly collapsing or even erupting. Next is a shot of Hyrule Castle collapsing. And then at 52 seconds, we actually see the Great Plateau again. You've got the Temple of Time in the background. That looks like it was completely decimated. And then at 53 seconds, we have our first shot at some new mobs. First up, we've got the Red Bokoblin that we were showcased previously with a new horn. And then we've got a Lizalfos, a variant of a Moblin. You could see a Redead in this shot. And finally, what looks like a Boss Bokoblin. Now, if we take a look at the shot at 58 seconds, there's a bit to unpack here. First and foremost, we have Link riding Epona with the castle in the background. And then you can actually see a structure in the sky that is currently being engulfed in clouds. Now, I believe we've seen the structure before that was in one of the previous trailers, although it's really hard saying. There's so many sky structures that we really have no way of knowing. At the 1 minute mark, you actually see Link in his champion's tunic. That features our first bit of Sheikah technology. Obviously, these are Guardian Scout arms. This shot kind of makes it so Link doesn't look really afraid, rather he's surprised. You see a Sheikah symbol on the wood at the very back as well. And can we talk about the quality of this shot right here? This game looks graphically incredible. It's looking like that new patent of their graphics processing system really went a long way for Tears of the Kingdom, because this game looks incredible. At 102, it looks like we're being chased by a Bokoblin camp. Maybe this is a unit. Obviously, we don't have any red Bokoblins in this shot. These are just tier 2 Bokoblins, which are red. The red Bokos have one single horn. These ones have two. The next scene, we see Link in a cave. We have some fresh vegetation we've never seen before, as well as a Hinox in the background that Link is just kind of nonchalantly running away from. And now at 105, we see the paraglider has returned, and holy crap, look at that draw distance. This game looks incredible, and what they were able to do with the draw distance is nothing short of a freaking miracle. I don't know how they're able to do it, but rather than seeing the silhouette of the mountains in the background, we can actually see details from that far away, and not to mention the sheer number of islands in the sky as well. At 107, you see this gargoyle type frog creature that's carrying a red Bokoblin with a hatchet in his hand. So that's a new type of weapon that's confirmed for the game. Before we had the axe, now we have the hatchet, and this weapon is not as primitive as the red Bokoblin would carry before, as this looks like a massive upgrade. Maybe this is the type of forging that the Bokoblins were doing before. You have another shot of a river that doesn't look like it's water, so maybe this is like an infected zone that was already taken over by Ganondorf and his minions. With the flying creature carrying a bokoblin, this confirms that different creatures and different mobs are actually going to interact with each other and help each other out. This is of course a feature that is not new to the Zelda franchise. At 1:11 seconds in, you have what is one of the most unique bosses that we've seen in Tears of the Kingdom so far, and it is the cubular enemy in this game. It looks like it's being held together by the same Zonai type energy that is in our arm. You see a glowing cube at the left side. Possibly this is a weak point. Maybe the weak point changes after every hit until it's been fully defeated. And then we have Link right here doing a backflip. Looks like he's doing a perfect parry into a flurry rush. If you look at the atmosphere, it looks like we are in the sky right now. The goldish glow from the sun peeking through all of the dense clouds makes this area look truly magical. And now we see a shot of Ganondorf in all of his enraged glory. This looks like the shot where he's about to raise up the castle and wreak havoc onto Hyrule. And now at 1:17, we have the classic Breath of the Wild moment in Tears of the Kingdom. You have Link looking at the preview of the entire world. He sees the castle down there. He's got Death Mountain on his right side with a bunch of sky islands peppered across the entirety of Hyrule. On the right side of this image, you see what looks to be one of the labyrinth cubes that are floating in the sky now. These are one of the 3 massive mazes that are in Hyrule. At 1:25, we see another tower to the left side that also has one of those geoglyphs that are in the ground, and what also looks like one of the big bokoblin structures, likely with the boss bokoblin. Now 1:26 in the video, we have aimbot in Tears of the Kingdom. We have Link who is about to shoot this arrow, but the arrowhead fills up with some Zonai technology that's in our arm, and it turns the arrow into a homing arrow that immediately takes down the target. In our next shot at 1:28, we see some Ratchet and Clank in Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, Link is able to grind on rails. With his shield, we have another shot of Death Mountain, or what looks to be Death Mountain. And like I said, look at the draw distance, guys. You can see everything so far away in high detail. Now 1:30, we have our first bit of trial footage. This looks like it's on top of one of the sky islands, obviously, but it's almost like a Zonai sky trial. And then at 1:31, we've got a Zonai launcher, it looks like. You see a Zonai dragon that's on the launcher that has a ball that's utilizing that technology. But if you take a look at the base of the actual launcher, the green and yellow circle, remember that for just a minute because we're going to talk about it in a few. And then we have another shot that's yet again in a cave. We've got stalactites with a stone talus that has a luminous stone on it. And then at 1:32, we have one of the biggest parts of this trailer. It looks like Zelda potentially, or as I stated before, this could be the goddess Hylia that is actually the one that's going to lend power to Link that allows him to save Hyrule. There is a reason that we are solving puzzles in the sky. These were likely trials given to us by the goddess Hylia, and in turn she will grant us more abilities. Now if you remember right, in Breath of the Wild, whenever you would complete a shrine or a trial, you would be gifted a spirit orb from a monk that was blessed by the goddess Hylia. Well, if this theory is correct and this is indeed Hylia, then it would totally explain why the people of Hyrule are making these geoglyphs for the deity, or in this case, the goddess Hylia, to see. The next shot has a bunch of implications. So we are currently on the Great Plateau. You could tell because if you look at the stump right there, as well as the previously placed wooden pillar that had a chest on top of it's no longer there. But in the mud, we actually have a tire that's going to be utilized for a new vehicle, which kind of confirms that crafting of some sort is going to be featured in the game. Technology has advanced to the point where even bokoblins are able to upgrade their gear. So if you're skeptical about crafting not being featured in Tears of the Kingdom, I think this will give you even more reason to believe that, especially with this shot coming up very soon. Next up, we have Link that is on a hot air balloon, so I guess that's confirmed for this game. And then you have none other than a hovercraft or a drone in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, if you look at one of the rotors of the drone at the very bottom, you see that yellow circle with a green circle as well. That to me looks like the same green circle that was on the Zonai launcher. At 1:46, we get to see Dueling Peaks as well as the rest of Hyrule looking even more glorious than ever. As I stated before, the draw distance is heavily improved. The graphics are looking incredible in this game, and you could definitely tell that this was developed for the Nintendo Switch rather than the Wii U as well. On the left side, you see more Malice, and then floating above that, you see this green block that is like floating up to the sky, but also falling down to the ground. And then if you look at all of these structures that are like kind of misplaced, it almost looks like the entirety of this part of Hyrule was risen up to the sky and then fell down. Maybe as we play the game, there's going to be certain structures that were previously in the sky that start to fall down and completely crumble. That might be another reason why time is such a big part of this game. If you remember from one of the teaser trailers, trailers, you see that time is paused and we're able to float back up to the sky on that rock. I'm not really sure of the significance about that, but what I will say is that time and furthermore timelines definitely has something to do with Tears of the Kingdom, possibly even the convergence of multiple timelines. Now at 201, we see a shot of Link with his hand completely taken over by Malice, with Zelda saying, "Please lend him your power." In this shot, you actually see Link dropping the Master Sword that's already previously infected with Ganon's Malice, with what is one of the most epic shots that I've seen in Legend of Zelda history. Link dropping the Master Sword with his Malice infected arm, trying to reach out and save the princess before her eventual demise. Well guys, that is going to wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Also, let me know if I missed anything important that you thought I should have shared, or if I said something wrong, or you just have a better theory that you want to talk about. Let me know. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers. Also, don't forget to enter the 100K giveaway as well. Thank you all for watching. This has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.